So I actually am going to make something else. I had mentioned making fudge earlier, and then I ummed and ahed whether to or not because I've got quite a lot of stuff. But Mike and I really like the fudge, and I also thought since we're going up to Mike's daughters after Christmas, if I make some fudge, I know they like it. They've really enjoyed it when they've come and visited in the past, so I can probably make a little gift of fudge to take up to them. So I am going to share with you the fudge. I make two types of fudge that we've come to love over the years. Both use condensed milk, and they're a quick and easy fudge recipe. If you go to the Carnation website, they have lots of different fudges. But the ones I'm going to make is I'm going to make a Baileys fudge, which has a bit of Baileys ice cream or any alternative you might have around. And I'm also going to make a salted caramel fudge. Now, Carnation do ordinary condensed milk, which is what I will use for the Baileys, but they also do a caramel condensed milk, which means you don't need to worry about adding sugar and everything to make the caramel. It's already in the condensed milk, so it makes it really easy. The Baileys fudge is with darkened milk chocolate, and the salted caramel fudge is with white chocolate. That one's obviously quite sweet because it's white chocolate, and it's definitely the one the little grandchildren love is the salted caramel one, which is strange, but they do. So one's a bit of an adult fudge, one's a bit of a anybody fudge, and they're really easy to do. So all you need is, once again, like we did when we did the Rocky Road, you need a heavy based saucepan, which I have, and into the pan you're just going to put the chocolate and the condensed milk and heat them up until they're combined, all right? So I've got a mixture of dark and light chocolate here. I need 600 grams altogether, but this will make quite a lot of fudge. So I know it sounds like a lot of chocolate, but so I've got sort of half. I think I have got half and half actually. Yeah, about half and half of 300 of dark and 300 of light. Most of the packets of fudge that you get, packets of chocolate that you get are 150, so you don't need to weigh it out. Two packs, just double it up. So 4 packs of chocolate gives you my 600. So I'm just going to put all this into the pan. How are you all doing? Are you getting there for Christmas? I feel like we're quite well ahead. I think it's quite interesting actually, having had the channel this year and wanting to record for people. I feel I've been a bit more organised and a bit more sorted. So thank you. You've helped me not have such a stressful Christmas as usual. And I think also because we haven't got a huge number, we've only got the close family this year. That makes it a bit easy. We haven't even got any sort of friends coming around. We had some friends around for lunch last week, which was lovely. And I did a lovely vegetable soup for that, which we really enjoyed. And then bits and pieces. But yeah, so I don't know what the rest of you are up to. I think that we are definitely getting there. So thank you for being here alongside me as we do this. Right, so let's just get all this. I don't know whether you've got things on before Christmas. I think we've got Christmas services at church to look forward to, or by the time this goes up, we may have already been to that. Not sure what day this is going up. Yeah, and then as I said, I go and pick my son up on Christmas Eve. He works Christmas Eve morning, but he's finished by the afternoon. So I'll go and pick him up. That's my big boy. He's only with us for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day this year. He's got a new girlfriend, and he's having her over on Boxing Day for his. So I'll run him back home on Boxing morning, as I say. And then my other son, his wife, and the two older grandchildren are coming. Of course, actually, Christmas Eve is my granddaughter's birthday, and she's 16. I just saw some pictures today on my Facebook when I took her out for her birthday 4 years ago, and she was just a little 12-year-old. Look at her now, and she's this grown-up 16-year-old. Time goes too quickly, doesn't it? If you've got grandkids, make the most of it when they're around. Although these two are still lovely. I love having them with us. They're so much fun. And they're really very special. We've been very fortunate to have them near us ever since they were born, so we've seen a lot of them over the years. So that's who we've got coming this year, so I shall look forward to that. Yeah, so her birthday is Christmas Eve. Sorry, where's my scissors? Her birthday is Christmas Eve, and actually then the grandson's up in with Mike's daughter. She's got little ones, so their birthdays are either side of Christmas. She seemed to decide that Christmas was a good time to have children. So her two boys have got their birthdays. So one is the day before Christmas Eve, so that's coming up this week. And then the other one is on the 28th, which is when we're going to go up to see them. So we'll be there to celebrate birthdays and Christmas. So there's a lot of present buying around Christmas for us, for grandchildren. But it's lovely, and we shall look forward to having a bit of time with them as well. So that's all the chocolate. Right, so now I just need to open the can of condensed milk. This one needs a can opener. If I can get the can opener on too. That's it. Okay, so let's get this in as well. You want to get as much of it in as you can, so I'll get the spatula out in a minute to wipe out the rest of it. Go, get all that out. It's just such an easy way of making fudge, and as I say, if you go to the Carnation website, they've got lots of lovely different ones on there. So I might have got others another time, but I tend to only do this at Christmas. I suppose I could do it other times of the year. But you know what it's like. Christmas is the time we indulge in everything, isn't it? And then I'll have to go on a massive diet after Christmas and get all the weight off, because we're off to Lanzarote in February. So I shall want to get a little bit off before we go away, I expect. But we'll see. Maybe I won't overdo it. Last Christmas I didn't actually. I just really enjoyed good food. And right, so I'm going to put the heat on under that. Medium heat, and I'm just going to let that melt. So I'll come back to you once that's melted and just show you how I do the last bit, okay? Right, so hopefully you can see that is now nearly melted. It's just finishing off. While that's just finishing off, you need to have prepared a baking tin and lined it with parchment so that you can get the fudge out afterwards. So I've got these little square ones. I've done that. So I've got that ready to put it in. So that's now nearly there, just a few little lumps left. Let me just get it really mixed. That's it. And obviously I've used a mix of dark and milk, but if you prefer milk, you can use just milk or just dark. The mixture's quite nice. It's not too rich, but it's not too sickly either. So it just adds that little bit of bitterness that comes from the dark chocolate. Right, that's all now mixed, see? Right, so there's my... So the next thing we need to do is add the Baileys, and it's 125 mils, which is half a cup. So I'm going to put that into there. There we go. Resist having a slurp of it myself at the moment. Mix that in. And then we also have 125, I think it's 125 grams. Yeah, 75 grams of icing sugar. Right, mix it in. And then once it's mixed, I'm going to turn the heat off now. Just get it all in, and then I'm going to beat it. I'm going to use my hand whisk to beat it and get it really into a nice, thick, fudgy mixture. So that's that in. Right. And so now I'm just going to start slow. Right, and you just want to beat it. You want to get it really smooth, with the so it's nice and glossy. You can beat it by hand, but there's no way my shoulder would do that. And with a hand whisk, it's quite quick. Right, and then I'm just, where are my beaters? And now all we need to do is to tip this into the tray. All right, this takes a little bit of doing, getting it all out the pan. Get as much out as I can by tipping it. There will obviously be bits left around the edge of the pan, and well, I don't think it'll just be Mike, it'll be me as well that wants to lick out the remains of this, especially with the Baileys in it. Right, a bit left in the pan, but not enough to worry about, so I'm just going to smooth that out. Right, nearly there. Try and get it as even as possible in the pan. And so when this is chilled, I just cut this into little cubes, and gives us quite a big pan of fudge. So there's plenty there. We'll have a bit, and we'll take some up with us when we go up to see Mike's daughter. So that's that one. It just needs to go into the fridge and set. And next I'm going to do the salted caramel one. So it's exactly the same process. I just need to clean out the saucepan before I can do that. And it's exactly the same, but it's white chocolate and the carnation caramel that I melt. And then there's a couple of bits to add in at the end, which I'll share with you. I'll get there. But what I'll do is clean the saucepan, get the next lot into the pan melting, and then I'll get back to you. Right, so now I'm going to get on with the salted caramel. And as you can see, this is a condensed milk that's already got the caramel in it. It's what's known as dolce de leche, I think is the term for this mixture. Or it's light dolce de leche, so it's a caramel and condensed milk. So that's going in with the white chocolate. And this time, it's only 400 grams of chocolate. But with white chocolate, that will be quite... And you can see this is thicker than the other condensed milk. It doesn't pour quite the same, so it comes out more as a sort of gel. Or, I don't know. Anyway, it's thicker. So I'm just going to put that in. And I'm going to do the same now. I'm going to heat that. And then all I need to add to that, once it's melted, is half a teaspoon of sea salt. And then whisk it up again like I did before. So I'll get to the point where I'm adding the salt and whisking up. And then we'll put that in a tray. Both will go in the fridge to set. And then I can cut them into cubes, and then I'll probably keep them in the fridge until I want to make them up into the gift bags, because it just keeps them better. So I just probably, I'll wrap them and put them in the fridge like I have with the Rocky Road. I find anything that's got chocolate in it, if you keep it in the fridge, it's a bit better, especially in the house once we get into Christmas and I'm cooking and there's people here, the house gets quite warm. And so things can go a bit softer than you want them to. Right, so let me get this on, and then I'll show you this one when it's ready to go into the tray, okay? Right, so there we go. That's all melted in now. And you see it's a lovely caramelly coloured fudge. Turn the heat off, and I just want half a teaspoon of sea salt. Oops, sorry. One of the things you can do afterwards, if you want to, is sprinkle sea salt across the top. I don't tend to do that, but you can do if you want to. Half a teaspoon. Come on, out you come. Oh, that'll be. Add a little bit more. That'll do. Let me see how that tastes when I've got that mixed in. How does that taste? Okay, just put a little bit more. That's it, that's plenty now, I think. You don't want it over salty, but you want to taste the salt in it. And then it's the same thing again. I'm going to get the whisk and give it a good whisk up to thicken it. Get caught in the drawer. So what you want is as you whisk it, as you see it pull away from the pan, it holds its shape for a little bit before it goes back in. Then you know it's thick enough. You don't want it too runny. You can see that. See, it's just pulling away now and thickening up. That will do, and I'll now just put that into the other tin. They'll both go in the fridge, and they should set up in the next few hours, and then I can take them out, cut them into cubes and store them ready to gift up or to put out. I probably will put a little bit of it out maybe on Christmas Day with coffee after dinner or at some point, but we'll see. But anyway, so we have Baileys, an adult one, salted caramel, which everyone loves. Have a go if you want to. It's very easy, and you can get both of the condensed milks from most of the supermarkets. So the fudge is now out of the fridge. I left it actually in there overnight, and I'm just going to tip that out, and let's see how well it cuts up. So I'm just going to lift it out of. It just lifts out really easily. Let's just get that onto a chopping board. And then just peel the baking parchment back from it. See, it's nice and set. Let's get the baking parchment off. Right, I'm just going to cut this into strips. And then just cut that into little cubes. Now you could just leave it in the fridge till you want it and then cut it fresh, but I'm just going to get this cut up because, as I said, I actually want to put some of this into gift bags. But I will put it back in the fridge and keep it until I want to bag it up, because otherwise it might go a bit too soft. So this is the Baileys. And as you see, I mean, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'll get 8 out of each strip. And I'm probably going to get what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 7. So that's almost 50 pieces of fudge out of each. So it's 100 pieces of fudge altogether. So that'll be plenty for everybody. So that's the Baileys. And then this is the salted caramel, which is actually thinner. I probably could have done with a slightly smaller pan, I think, for this, but it's okay. It will be more, it's more of a tablet shape than a, but it has set up quite nice. It's still it is a little bit softer, but not too bad. Get a different board for that. So that one, cut that strip of that. That is softer than the other one, which I always find it is. And because can you see it's thinner, I will still cut it the same probably. It'll just be small, it'll be thinner pieces but it still makes nice little pieces of. So that's both of those. I'm going to get those all cut up. I'll put them back in, probably in a plastic bag in the fridge, and then later on, I'm just going to. I actually met someone in church this morning who had done some Christmas cakes. She's got them wrapped in some lovely Christmas cellophane, and I asked where she got it. She said Lakeland, so I'm going to pop down there tomorrow probably and pick up some of that, and then just make little bags that I can, just little gathered up pieces that I can tie with ribbon. So you might see that on some of the Christmas stuff as we go on. But that's it, fudge made, and yeah, might just cut this little bit off and see. This is the salted caramel. That's really nice. Good. That's got that salty caramelly taste. That's lovely. Good. So that's the fudge finished. So have a go if you fancy it. And can I just say thank you for those who have been commenting. It's lovely to hear from you. And I really hope you've enjoyed it all.